All right. So we all have done open houses, presumably. I don't know. I don't think there's anybody brand new in here, but if there is, open houses are a great way to get people into your database. And I think open houses could really be so much more than they really are. And so that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about doing open houses with pizzazz, how you can stand out from other real estate agents, because let's be honest, when you are at an open house and the person comes in, they've probably gone to 3 or 4 or even more open houses that day. Maybe not in this particular market, but in a normal market, they will have gone to multiple open houses in a day. And so you want to stand out and be remembered. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because Carrie and I learned some really cool stuff in a book that I'm going to share with you. So as a listing agent, your clients expect you to do an open house. They think it brings buyers to their home, but in reality, it brings us potential clients. It really doesn't sell their home. I think in 6 years, I have never sold a house from an open house, but I have gotten clients from an open house. So I see a lot. I'm in social media a lot. It's how I market. It's my prospecting. And I see a lot of questions that go back and forth. How do I pick an open house? What kind of swag do I do? What food do I serve? What do I say? How do I greet clients? Do I need to have someone else there with me? Things like that. And so we're going to take some time to answer a lot of those questions. And then towards the end, we're going to get into the really cool stuff about how you can blow your prospective clients' minds just with the way that you talk to them. And I think Carrie said, but if there's any questions, put them in the chat and she will interrupt me and bring them up. So picking your open house. If you don't have a listing of your own and you want to do open houses, which again, as a new agent, or if you don't have listings or business, it's a great way to build your database. Check with your broker on their policy about doing open houses for other agents. At EXP, you cannot do open houses for someone outside the brokerage, but you can do it inside the brokerage. Prior to being with EXP, I was with a boutique brokerage and we could do them for anyone. So it's going to really depend on your brokerage as to what you can do. But here's some things to think about when you're choosing your open house. First, pick several that you like. Most important thing is to be excited. There's a typo. Be excited about the home that you're going to choose. Make it something that you would look forward to showing your clients. Pick like 10 and put them in order of your favorites, and then start texting and making phone calls. You want to make sure that you give yourself a week lead time so that you have plenty of time to do advertising. It's okay if you don't. I used to pick my open houses on Wednesday, but it doesn't give you as much lead time for planning and advertising. Make sure it's at a medium price point. Even if you want to be in a luxury price point, unless there is a really nice home in a phenomenal neighborhood that's going to get, like, it's a high demand neighborhood, don't pick a luxury price point. Pick a price point that everybody is trying to buy at, because that's where you're going to get the most traffic. So just kind of keep those few things in mind when you are picking your open house. So preparing for it. It's super important to be prepared for your open house. Otherwise, you might come off as being an unprepared agent because everything is kind of a mess or cluttered. Plus, you don't want to be stressing out the day of your open house because you don't have your stuff together. So one of the first things is advertising. So remember, that's why we try to pick our open houses a week ahead of time, is so that you have time to advertise. An open house is an event. So create an event in Facebook. Create one in Eventbrite or Meetup and Waze. Any event page that you can think of, create an event for your open house in advance. Don't forget to also make sure, if it's not your listing, that the listing agent updates the MLS to say that there's going to be an open house. This is another reason why it's important to pick it ahead of time, because a lot of MLSs, it takes 24 to 48 hours to push out to the websites like Realtor and Zillow and, God forbid, Redfin. So you want to make sure that you get it out there, because honestly, that's where a lot of people are going to find out about your open house. Probably the majority of them are going to be from those franchised websites. Of course, if it's your listing, make sure you put the information in there. Remember to do teaser short videos too. Just, pop on 30 seconds, not even that, 10 seconds. Hey guys, I have got a great open house over in the Smithville subdivision of New Vienna, Ohio. We're going to be there Saturday from 10 to 1. And we want you to come stop by, grab some chips and a can of soda, and check out the house. Take care. Have a blessed day. Just something simple like that. And you're going to do little teaser ones like that leading up to it. I would recommend that you do it as both as a little reel and then also putting it into your story, because more people see your story as far as people that have been following you. And then your reel, if it gets enough views, it'll be pushed out to other people in the area. There is an app that I have come across. I haven't used it. It's called Sly Broadcast, but it's an app that you can use for advertising as well. And of course, if you have the lead time, like especially for your own listing, you can do direct mail if you have time, or hand deliver invites to neighbors. I don't door knock, so I don't do that. Make sure you're ready. Not you, the home. Make sure the home is ready. Especially if it's not your listing, go out a day or two before the open house and do a walkthrough. I have been stunned at how dirty homes are, that I've had to come in like the night before and totally clean the house. Fingerprints on doors, smudges on light switches, dirty doors like the one from the garage. You come in with greasy hands, dirty doors that just, it's like you walk into that and you're going to be totally turned off. So you never know what you might have to clean. Maybe it is just someone has a really bland decor style and you can bring some things to kind of spruce it up and add pops of color. What if it's vacant? I had a vacant open house. I was sitting on the floor because I didn't preview the home. And so bring a table and chairs with like a seasonal tablecloth, at least 2 chairs, but maybe 3, 1 for you and 2 for the people that are coming to look at it. And then I think that's it for that. But one time, so I was talking about having to sit on the floor, but another reason it's important to preview your home is one time my husband and our friend had to mow the lawn and weed whack. I mean, the grass was probably over a foot high on this listing. Who is going to come into an open house with grass that's a foot high? I mean, I know I wouldn't. I'd be like, yeah, no, thanks. Keep going. So, and your signs are so important for open houses, because you've got your advertising out there. So people that actually are looking for a home are going to look in those particular places, but people who are just driving down the road aren't. And you never know, that person may be a potential client, or they may have clients that they can refer you out to. So get your signs out. I typically go out the day before, sometime before rush hour, and I put out all of my directional signs every which way that you can get into the property. And then I put one sign right in the front of, so if you have your for sale sign, I'll put it like kind of as a T for the for sale sign. So if you're looking at the house from the street, it's facing you. And that will say open house from Saturday from 10 to 2 or whatever. And then that goes right in front. And I make sure that the flyer box is full. Even if it's my flyers and not the listing agent's flyers, that flyer box needs to be full, because if they follow the open house signs and they get there and they say, oh, well, this isn't until tomorrow, they can grab the flyer and decide whether or not they want to come back. Any questions so far? Just unmute yourself. I talk really fast. And of course, for those of you that are new, all of the slides are made available almost immediately after the presentation. And then we also are recording this. And so by Friday, end of day, I will have the video edited and posted to our YouTube channel. All right. So one thing that I learned when I talked about being prepared is I went ahead and created a checklist. Of course, I have ADHD, so I have checklists for everything. But create a checklist of everything you need to do and everything you need to take with you. I actually have totes that are just for my open house stuff. Yes, I have a coffee machine that is designated just to open houses. And in fact, I've been known to travel with that coffee pot. I put everything in there, and I have the checklist for everything, coffee pot, cups, sugar, stir sticks, all the way down to the napkins and the music. And there is an example of that checklist in the materials that will accompany the slides. Food, this is a stickler for me. I can't stand walking into an open house and they're serving store-bought cookies and warm water. I don't want warm water. That's nasty. Water's nasty enough as far as I'm concerned. Make it warm, forget it. So you want to stand out. Some of the things that I've done are what I usually do for someone else's open house is I will do coffee and donuts in the morning, and I'll cut the donuts in half. I'll pick the donuts up on the way. And then I will, if it's my listing, I might step it up a little bit and also include bagels and maybe some fruit skewers. If I do bagels, of course I have cream cheese and I also cut those in half as well. And you need all the condiments. With the coffee, it's not a big coffee spread, but it's not just coffee and plain creamer. I usually bring hazelnut and vanilla and have half and half. And then I give the insulated to-go cups, and they're branded to me. I have stickers that I had made of my business card. And so I just slap that on the cup. And then that way, if they say, oh, yeah, that agent that had the donuts was really great, but I don't remember her name. Oh, wait, she's on my coffee cup. In the afternoons, I will typically do small bags of chips and mini cans of soda. And then if it is my listing, I will get like sub sandwiches and cut them in fourths and serve them with the chips and the mini cans of soda. Now, if it's a luxury listing, I have been known to do a complete breakfast buffet or lunch buffet of finger foods. So keep in mind who your market is going to be and what kinds of people are going to be walking through your listing when you choose your food. Again, we come back to advertising. Share, share, share. Do your hype videos, overshare. You want people to be sick of seeing your post about your open house, because that's the way it's going to get out and get in front of everybody else. So there's an example of my open house checklist. Like I said, it will be in the materials, but you can see I have everything in there. One of the things that I like to do, especially if the home is occupied, is I will buy fresh flowers and then I will leave them there for the seller. And I will even leave a little handwritten thank you note that says, thank you so much for letting me do an open house. Your home is beautiful. You know, we had great feedback or whatever, just something to make it personalized and give them something back as well. Let's see, what else? I always have candles. I know that this can be controversial, but I do something like eucalyptus and spearmint or something, a really soft scent, because no matter what, someone's house is going to smell like them. And they could have cooked dinner with a lot of garlic or a lot of curry the night before, and that house smells like curry or garlic. So doing something like that, that's just light and refreshing. I'll usually put, you know, one in a bathroom and then one in a key point upstairs and then one in a key point downstairs and then in the master as well. Don't forget music, just soft classical piano music is what I play. Nothing major, nothing distracting. It's just there in the background. And then yourself. This is so important. If you look down there towards the bottom, it says personal, nails, toes, makeup. This is so important. Even if you're in a lower median income price point, you still need to look your best because it's part of that know, like, and trust factor. So even if all you do is slap a clear coat of nail polish on your nails, do it. And if you're wearing open-toed shoes, you absolutely need to put something on your toes. Again, even if it's a clear coat, you want to be the whole package. My aunt used to, she got her degree in fashion design and she managed some really high-end stores in Beverly Hills. And I was getting ready, she's 10 years older than me. I was getting ready for an interview to go work at the 579 shop. I don't know if any of y'all are old enough to remember that store. And I was so nervous. So I was asking her, what do I need to do? You know, what can I do to stand out? And that's one of the things she said is dress for the job and don't forget to polish. And she didn't just mean fingernail polish and toenail polish. Don't forget that lip gloss, ladies. So super important to have the complete package because it shows people that you are put together. And if you're put together, your business is probably put together. So the little things are super important. Here's some food ideas. This will also be in your materials. Again, as we talked about, you know, tailor your food to the listing area. If you're in a lower price point, you're not going to want to serve caviar on crackers because they're going to think it's gross. So this is some examples of some marketing materials that I've done. This first one over here on the left is open house post that I did and I boosted it. The link just goes directly to the MLS listing. I have found, I know a lot of people talk about doing landing pages to collect information. but I have found that when I give them the link, I get a better response from them. People don't want to feel like they are being sold to, and that's what happens when you make them fill out information to get the link. Just my personal opinion. Here we go. I talked about doing some things about the hype. I actually did a quick little video with this as well. And took a picture of the guy, or took some video of the guy who was making the sandwiches. And then down here is an example of a new, just listed. On the other side of this postcard, it said just listed. And then on the back side, it was about the open house. And I sent that out to the entire subdivision. Of course, this picture goes with this post up here. And then over here, this was for a luxury home that I listed. And this was a special invitation that went out just to the 100 people, because it was in a subdivision, but it was a small subdivision. So I did 100 people in circumference around the property, but you can see it's kind of a step up and it makes it look really celebratory. And I had a full-on breakfast spread for these people. I had bacon and sausage and baby quiche and fresh fruit and donuts and bagels. I mean, I had the whole shebang, including orange juice, apple juice, and of course, coffee. So down here, this is an example of just a spread at one of my, everyday open houses. You can see the sandwiches there, and the chips are in a nice little basket. Be creative, and don't be simple. Don't just throw a plastic bag on the table with chips and say pick one. So, okay, items of value. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, I think it was, we had a presentation on branding. And if you don't have your stuff branded, or you're not sure, that video is available on our YouTube channel, and the materials are available in the files section. But your personal brand is super important, and you want to stick with it in everything that you do. For example, this pink up here is one of my brand colors. You will find some sort of pink in every single post that I do for the most part. So if you're scrolling through your news feed and you see pink, you're going to, oh, maybe that was Kat. Let's go back. Let's see what she has to say. So people are going to get used to seeing that, and you're going to be more eye-catching, I guess, or findable. That's not a word, but you know what I mean. So whatever you do for your items of value at an open house, just make sure you stay on brand, because the brand is what people are going to remember. They're not going to necessarily remember your face or what open house they met you at. They're going to remember your brand. So some ideas, there's a branded home comparison checklist, which will be in, sample will be in your materials. You can do pens, koozies. I have a buyer's brochure and a seller's brochure that I put out at open houses, because every buyer becomes a seller, and sometimes they need to sell their house before they can buy their new one. So those are like mini buyer's presentations and mini sellers listing presentations. Okay, the day of your open house, the big day, it's finally here. Prepare to arrive at least 45 minutes early. I can't tell you how many times I've shown up to an open house first thing with my clients, and the hostess is still setting up. I think that's really tacky. That doesn't, if it's an outside person that doesn't have an agent, they're going to think, man, she's not very timely. This is supposed to start at 10. If I use her, is she going to be late to my showings? So is she unorganized in her office? So every little thing that you do at an open house speaks to who you are as a real estate agent. So arrive 45 minutes early. Earlier is better. Remember, you'll have to provide time to pick up your balloons, your donuts, or any other food on your way to the open house. You'll have to put your balloons up on your directional signs on your way to your open house. And yes, balloons really do work. Or what's really becoming popular these days, I shouldn't say becoming popular, what is starting to become popular are those 6-foot open house flags. You can get them specifically made to you in your brand. You can get them where they're just black and white, and there's a ton that are like red, white, and blue. If I want to do the open house flags, I have not done them yet. I figured I would get 3, 1 for 2 major intersections, and then 1 for right in front of the house. Just makes it easier to find. Be 100% ready to go for your open house 15 minutes prior, because if you've done open houses, you know people always come early and they don't care. They'll walk on in. So before people come, you also want to do a quick live video of the home. Now, this is a tour, but it's not a full tour. You're just going to do a short little teaser, maybe of the kitchen, or if they have a really cool porch area, you can do that. but it's just a teaser. Hey, I'm here live, coming at you live from my open house in New Vienna on Smith Street. And check out this kitchen. It is awesome. Look at this double stove. I would love a double stove, double oven. And if you make a mistake, keep going, correct yourself, laugh at yourself, don't freak out. And then, close it with, so come on by and grab a free donut and some coffee and check out my open house. Hope to see you there. And done. Then at the end of your open house, before you leave, do a complete video tour. And then you post that. Of course, you need to get the seller's, the listing agent's permission if it's not your listing. Then you post that and say, hey, in case you missed my open house, here's a video tour. And you just post it. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. So we kind of already looked at some of these. This is that same spread that I did before, and then from a different direction. And then over on the right-hand side is just a coffee and donuts setup that I did. One of the things I mentioned later is to have property information near the food. So this is a good way to do that. And then have stacks of the listing sheets somewhere else. You'll note here, I stapled my business card to them. This was early on, and I didn't know how to use Canva yet. In fact, I don't even think I was using Canva. So I just stapled my business card to the, got a little photo bomb here with my dog. Staple my business card to the flyer sheet. And then over here on the far right, I will put together a property resource book. I get a lot of the information from my title company, so then people can flip through and look at schools and stuff like that. All right. Signing in. Of course, you always want people to sign in. People don't want to sign in. This is for your follow-up. This is how you get people into your database. And I need to get something on my throat here. Sorry, getting over a cold. So there are some new apps that will make this easier. And we'll talk about more how to implement the apps in a little bit when we talk about this amazing script that we have discovered. There's Curb Hero, Spacio, Open Home Pro, and then there's another one I think called My Open House. Excuse me. I'm sure there's other ones out there. And I included a paper, an article with that I got this information from, and it talks about the different apps in detail. That'll be in your materials. And so a lot of people will say, hey, what do I say? And how many of us have it programmed in our heads? We go, hi, welcome to my open house. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,500 square feet, and it's listed at $350,000. If you'd please go ahead and come over here and sign in, then we can get started. That's 9 times out of 10 what you hear, something along those lines. Boring, right? You feel pressure to sign in. What if you don't want to sign in? Talk about that. So no matter what, you want to make contact with everybody. Even if you can't greet them at the door because you're super busy, make contact with everyone. A simple intro, if you're not greeting them at the door, can I get you a cup of coffee or a donut or anything? Kind of go from there. Another question I see a lot is, do I need to have a lender or another agent there with me to help? The short answer is, why not? Why not have someone there to help you? Open houses can get really busy. As most of us know, it's either hit or miss. You can have 10, 15, 20 families come through, and you can have 2 families or no families come through. There's no magic algorithm or method to help you determine whether or not they're going to show up, other than the demand in your market and the price point. So having a second person there to sit and offer people food or direct people to sign up for your giveaway, or, hey, be sure to check out this flyer. It's always really helpful. And if you have another agent with you, you guys should come to an agreement prior to about how leads are going to be shared, because they're going to expect something out of it as well. Even if they're job shadowing you, you still need to share leads. So having a lender there is an even better idea. Not only is having a second person great for safety, but having a lender person there, you don't need to share your leads. And how many people come into an open house and they're just looking? Well, if they're just looking, the lender can talk to them and maybe get them started on a pre-approval process. And while she's talking to them, she can plug what a great real estate agent you are, because you're a team. So it is a good idea to have a second person there with you, but you don't always have to. Giveaways. They've really become popular. When I first started doing them, they were pretty uncommon. But giveaways are an amazing way to just get people to come in and look. And even if they're not looking to buy or they're not looking for a real estate agent, they still might remember. One really important thing is to make sure that you don't call it a raffle. Legally and for tax purposes, a raffle implies a pay to play. So it's always a giveaway. Giveaways are simple ways to collect names and numbers. Even if they don't want to sign in, everybody wants to try and win something, right? And they have to give you their correct phone number, or otherwise, if they win, they won't find out. So doing a raffle, what are you going to, or your giveaway, smack, your giveaway, what are you going to give away? Well, think about your price point. If you're selling in a luxury neighborhood, a $25 gift card to Applebee's isn't going to be very enticing. And so, yes, maybe $100 gift card in that situation. Think about the season as well. Like what could be fun seasonally? Like summer would be a great time to give away a 4-pack of tickets to the water park. During the fall, perhaps a ticket to a local place for a local pumpkin patch. Anytime, tickets to the movies or a gift card to Fandango are amazing, especially if you're in a lower price point, because a lot of times those people can't afford to go to the movies because they're trying to save so much money so they can buy a house. So it might be something really cool for them. And a gift card to Hobby Lobby usually goes over pretty well too. I used to always do Amazon cards when I started doing this, but I feel that that's really been overdone and people don't care about it anymore. And I've experienced that firsthand. Hey, enter the giveaway to win a $25 or $50 gift card to Amazon. Oh, no, I'm good. So it happens all the time. Be creative and be family friendly when you're thinking about your giveaways. Don't forget about the kids. How many times have you been doing an open house and people bring their kids? It's kind of annoying, actually, as a real estate agent, but we understand. Those kids, generally, their parents are busy looking at the house and they're not paying attention to their children. They could make a mess. They could break things. Yikes. So provide a branded kids activity sheet and a branded 8-pack of Crayola crayons. Don't cheap out on the crayons. An 8-pack is $1 at Walmart. Don't cheap out. Brand the activity sheet in Canva, and you can brand the crayons by putting your business card sticker on the back of them. And those crayons stick around for a while, and the kids are going to want to take their activity sheet with them. Some of you know I do coffee with Kat once a week. I go to a local coffee shop and just invite people to come and ask questions. It's not about getting clients. It's about getting people to know, like, and trust me, and to know that I'm there for them in the community. If I'm in the coffee shop, whether someone comes up to talk to me or not, and there's a kid with a parent, a kid that's old enough to color, I will give the kid my activity sheet and my branded crayons. So just another idea for you. Parents love this stuff. And like I said, it builds the know, like, and trust factor. And it shows people that you really, truly do care about their family. I don't have a template for the activity sheet. I can't remember if I got it from my coaches or if I got it off Google. But there is the example there in your materials. And when all else fails, GTS. And if you don't know what that means, it means Google that shit. GTS, baby. All right. Here's the good stuff. We're getting to the good stuff. The stuff you never thought about, the stuff that's going to blow your mind and freak your clients out or potential clients out. The art of conversation. So I will show you the book at the end, but this next section is adapted from the book, How to Get Listings and Dominate Your Market, even if nobody's ever heard of you. Most of it comes from chapter 8, or what she calls skills 8. The book is written by Alina Schumacher, and I highly recommend it, and I'm pretty sure Carrie does too. Right, Carrie? Carrie?
Sorry, I couldn't find my button. Yes, definitely recommend it. It's a great book. Great ideas.
In fact, we both were just kind of chatting, and she's like, oh, I'm reading this great book. And I'm like, oh my gosh, me too. We didn't even plan on reading it together, but we did. So your main goal at an open house is to get more leads, right? And hopefully a phone number so that you can add them to your database. I want to give you some ideas to do this differently, and it's going to shock and awe your potential clients. Most agents will greet visitors and immediately ask them to sign in, and that's kind of off-putting. Some will offer to show the home, and others, I tell you more often than not, They're sitting there with their nose in their phone and they don't engage. So it's time to change it up and throw your visitors off guard. So what happens? Visitors will say, I don't want to sign in. Or they'll lie and say, oh, I'm already working with an agent. Or simply say, no, thank you. We are going to blow their minds with this new conversation. Are you ready for it? Here we go. So let's blow their socks off. The next couple of slides are going to be a lot of writing. So don't stress about taking notes. This is all going to be in your slides. And of course, you can buy the book. So try this conversation starter. Your potential client walks in the door. Welcome. Would you prefer to remove your footwear, or would you like to try these really cool new slip-ons I have to put over your shoes? The price is a whopping $0. Has anyone ever said that to you before at an open house? Ever heard that before? Not unless you read the book. Follow up. So you've greeted them. You've made light of it. You have not asked them for their information. You have not asked them to sign in. You have not told them about the house. What do you say next? Here's a feature sheet for you. And if you don't mind me grabbing your name and phone number really quick, it's just to make sure we know who's been through the home. Sometimes people forget their glasses on the countertop, drop their phone, or kids lose a soccer toy. If your kid lost their favorite pacifier, you'd probably want to know where it was, right? Kind of ad-libbed that there, but you know how it goes. It's also requested by the homeowners. I'm not going to need an email, just your name and a quick phone number. Now let's think about that. I'm not going to need your email. Pretty, kind of like, wow, that agent didn't ask me for my email address. Wow, this is kind of crazy. So you take this information down for them. Don't make them do it. They don't have to write anything. You do it. Whether you enter it into an app or you write it down on a piece of paper, you do it. Then you can say, by the way, may I ask which real estate agent you're working with? Whoa, wait, what? That's not what people usually say to me. People will usually say, are you working with an agent? Rather than presuming they're not or putting them on the spot or forcing them to lie, just ask them the question, who are you working with? Most of the time, what's going to happen is they are going to say, I actually just started looking. I'm not really working with anyone yet. Bam, score, 2-point conversion, 3-point shot, grand slam. You just found out they are a potential client. So now what? Do you kind of get what's happening here? You had a process. You stood up from the crowd. And best of all, the prospect didn't have to fill anything out themselves, and you automatically are adding them to your giveaway because now you have their name and number. So you don't have to ask them to do anything other than walk through the house. There's humor. Show them that you will have fun while you're out showing them houses. Yes, you are a business, but in a casual and fun way. Looking for houses and buying a house is stressful enough as it is. You want to have an agent that's going to be lighthearted and friendly with you. This script is the exact opposite of what the prospect expected from you. They've gone to 5 other open houses and every single person has said, hi, welcome to my open house. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,500 square feet, yada, yada, yada. So then when you find out that they don't have an agent, bam, you just threw them for a loop because you didn't even ask them for their email address still. And in fact, you never will. So now what? Normally in a situation like that, it's time to pounce. Oh my gosh, they don't have an agent. This is my perfect opportunity to just hop on in and snag them as a client. But you're not going to do that. Instead, you simply tell them to take a look around and enjoy the tour. You aren't going to pounce on them like flies on poop to get their business. You're building a rapport and you're getting them to know, like, and trust you. So now what? Well, you didn't get any of their forward questions answered. You don't know what their motivation is. So now what are you supposed to do? Your prospect is now done looking around the house and you ask, so what'd you think? Is there any specific feedback that I can pass on to the sellers? Huh? They're not asking me if I want to write an offer? Oh, okay. So here's what our amazing author recommends we do next. You say, May I ask you one more question? And 99.9% of the time, someone's going to say, sure. Then you say, if you had a magic wand and you could change just one thing about this home, what would it be? And then don't say anything. Just listen. Because this question is a legit game changer. If they answer the question, then they are actually a legit buyer, or at least they're more than just looky-loos. Now they're really going to tell you what they think of the property and why they won't be putting in an offer. In other words, they are going to let you know what is important to them in a home. Bam! Another grand slam. Now you step up and you share your market knowledge because you have done all of your research and you know all of the other homes that are available for sale in the area. And you can say, oh, did you see this one that just came on the market? And go from there. Now, I didn't have this same conversation because I didn't know these words yet, but my second most highest sale came from an open house where I did just that. I talked about some other houses that were available for sale in the area, and I followed up by saying, would you like to go look at the home after my open house? And he said, yes. Now, he didn't buy any of those homes that day, but he became my client, and it was my second highest transaction to date. So you're letting them know that you're market savvy, that you're really not pushy because you haven't asked them for their email or asked them if they're going to write an offer, and they don't even know what's happened to them. There are previous chapters in the book that give you some other tools on how to stand out from the other real estate agents, but we don't have time to get into all of that. You'll have to buy the book, but it's a great book and it's an easy read. But you can see how doing this can totally set you apart from any other agents at your open house. Okay, follow up. Any questions? First of all, any questions on the script part? Because it really is a game changer. All right. So follow up. This is the most important part of doing open houses, but I want you to do what works for you, whether that's DMing them through Messenger, setting up a drip email, doing a text video, a regular email, text, whatever. The most important thing is to be authentic. That is number one. I'm not super pushy and I don't do drip campaigns. I used to, and there is an example in the documents of some language that you can use. But how you follow up depends on how your conversation goes at the open house. Maybe, hey, I know you're not truly ready to start looking at homes yet, but I wanted to give you this flyer that talks about everything you need to know for financing a home. Just something, whatever you think this person needed based on your conversation. So drip campaigns are always an option. If you don't have time to be creative or you don't want to, then this is the follow-up route to go. But know this, drip campaigns have a 5% open rate. So really not a lot of people are opening those emails. Handwritten notes, I think, are one of the best. It would be an immediate follow-up, like if you did your open house on Saturday or Sunday, they go out on Monday. It should be on a branded note card if you can. And there's some great stuff on Etsy as far as some cute branded note cards. And then, well, what's that real estate page? Crud. Market Dwellings. Market Dwellings has a lot of cool stuff too. But make it personal. And I put an example in the materials of a thank you, more like a thank you letter versus a thank you note. But it kind of gives you an idea of some things that you can say. And you can enclose a business card that maybe they didn't grab at the open house. And don't forget to have that call to action. Even if they end up calling you and saying, hey, I'm not interested right now at all, please stop contacting me. You've still given them something and you've made it personal. And so they're still probably going to remember you. Text video, I think, is really, truly the wave of the future. And we'll talk about this in the DARE also. But a personalized video is very unique. And I can tell you, not a lot of real estate agents do it. So again, it's going to help you stand out. And it reminds them not only of what you look like, but it's personalized and they didn't get one from anybody else. And you make it personalized by looking back through your notes because you took down their name and phone number and you wrote down what they had to say. And you can say, hey, I know you're not really looking right now, but this house came up and it really fit all of your needs and wants that we talked about. Can I send you the link? Don't just send it to them. Ask them. You want them to engage with you. So here's a ton of other standout ideas. I attached an article to your materials called 27 Open House Ideas that will actually get you leads in 2023. I do use QR codes. That's the first one on here. I have a little stand that has all of my QR codes for all of my freebies. So if they want my staging to sell guide, they scan the QR code, it takes them to a Google form, they enter their information, and we move on. Same thing, I have one for scheduling an appointment, one to my link tree, one for my buyer's brochure, seller's brochure, anything that I give out for free, they have a QR code to sign up for it. Every QR code takes you to a Google form. I do put welcome signs up. The first slide that had the wreath on the door with the welcome to our open house thing, that was actually from one of my open houses. Do something special for the neighbors. You can do, especially if you're in a luxury price point, do a special, kind of like a broker's open, but for the neighbors. Have some wine and cheese and some entertainment, and you know, maybe some clowns juggling could be your entertainment, whatever, but something to stand out to those people so that when they're ready to sell, they might think of you. Let's see, what else can we do? There's another app, I think I mentioned it, My Open House. They have follow-up email templates. Again, I've never used it, but you know, the money is in the follow-up, so maybe it would be a good thing to use. You can partner with a local shop or restaurant. So I did a school supply giveaway, and it was called Cupcakes in the Park. And I did popsicles in the park when I was in Washington. And both times I had vendors from within the community, not only sponsored by giving me money to buy school supplies, but also by providing giveaway items. My massage therapist did a free 1-hour massage. A gift shop I shop at locally gave us a $25 gift card. This time with cupcakes, my cousin has a little, cottage industry cupcake thing. And so she provided all the cupcakes for free. So teaming up with other people is good. You can team up with a local restaurant too. Like if you wanted to do a taco bar at an outdoor, you know, like you had them the food outside, come out and grab a taco when you're done, things like that, or a food truck. Those are just all kinds of ideas that you can use for your open house. One thing that I thought was really cool, towards the bottom there, it says, get a custom branded doormat. And I think Market Dwellings does it, but it says, welcome to my open house. And then it has your name and your phone number. So you switch out the mat that the owners had and you put yours there at the front door. So just kind of another eye catcher to put your name in front of people. And then I never ever thought of this last one here until I read that article, but you could raise money for charity during your open house. That'd be something we'd have to brainstorm as a group, because I have no idea how we would even get that started, but it's there. And maybe there's more information in the article about it. Any other questions? No questions? There have to be questions.